How to disagree without sounding emotional or defensive. Disagreement is not the problem in professional communication. How you disagree is the problem. Many professionals don't lose credibility because they're wrong. They lose credibility because they sound emotional, defensive, or personal when they push back. Today, I want to show you how executives disagree calmly, clearly, and professionally without sounding cold, aggressive, or insecure. Why disagreement feels risky. Let's be honest, most people dislike disagreement at work because it feels like conflict, tension, risk. Especially in second language, disagreement feels dangerous, so people either soften too much, apologize excessively, over-explain, or suddenly sound emotional. None of those build authority. The core problem: mixing ideas with identity. Here's the key insight. Most offensive language comes from confusing disagreement with personal threat. Executives don't argue with people, they discuss ideas. The moment disagreement sounds personal, authority disappears. What emotional disagreement sounds like. Let's look at some common examples. I don't agree with that at all. That doesn't make sense to me. I think you're missing the point. Even if these are true, they sound abrupt, dismissive, reactive. People stop listening, not because you're wrong, but because the tone escalates. What executive disagreement sounds like. Executives slow disagreement down. They separate the person from the idea. Here's how that sounds. I see this a bit differently. I'd like to offer another perspective. Let me challenge that assumption for a moment. Notice calm tone, neutral framing, no emotional charge. That's executive presence. The power of framing before disagreeing. One of the strongest executive habits is framing before disagreement. Instead of jumping straight into opposition, they create context. For example, I understand the reasoning here. I'm not sure it fully addresses the risk. This does three things. First, shows respect. Second, lowers tension. Third, keeps the discussion professional. You're not backing down. You're guiding the conversation. Avoid but, use structure instead. The word but often triggers defensiveness. Let's compare. I see your point, but I disagree. I see your point from another angle. Same message, very different impact. Executives often replace but with. At the same time, Another consideration is, one concern I have is, these phrases keep disagreement open, not confrontational. Disagreeing in meetings. In meetings, disagreement can feel especially exposed. Here's an executive level structure you could use. 1. Acknowledgement. 2. Reframe. 3. Contribute. Example. That's helpful context. One thing I'm concerned about is timing. We may need to adjust the approach. No emotion. No defensiveness. Just clarity. Disagreeing with senior people. This is where many professionals freeze. They either stay silent or sound nervous. Executives handle this by removing ego from the sentence. Instead of, I don't think that's the right approach, try, one of the alternatives we might consider is, you're not rejecting authority, you're contributing to value. Disagreeing without over-explaining. A common mistake is over-explaining disagreement. Over-explaining sounds like insecurity. Executives state their point once, clearly, and stop. For example, I'm concerned this may delay delivery. Then pause. Silence signals confidence. What to do when disagreement gets emotional. Sometimes the room is already tense. In that case, executives don't argue harder. They slow things down. You can say, let's separate the issue from the reaction for a moment. Or, we may be reacting to different concerns. Let's clarify them. This moves the conversation back to logic. A simple rule to remember. Here's a rule that works every time. Disagree with ideas. Align with people. If your language sounds aligned, disagreement feels safe. If your language sounds personal, disagreement feels threatening. Common executive phrases for disagreement. Here are some phrases worth practicing. I see this slightly different. One concern I have is, I'd like to challenge that assumption. Another perspective might be, I'm not fully convinced yet. All of these things are calm. All of these things are professional. None of these sound defensive. This week, do this. Before disagreeing, pause for 1 second. Then start with framing, not opinion. Instead of, I disagree, start with, I see this from another angle. Small change, big difference. My final thought. Strong leaders don't avoid disagreement. They manage it calmly. When you remove emotion from language, people stop resisting and start listening. That's executive communication. I'm Eric. Thanks for watching The Executive English Coach.